Welcome back to a new Captain of Industry episode, and this is a big one because we're finally getting into the end game. We have completed the research for construction part level 4, microchips and lab level 4. There are only 12 researches left, at least in this version of the game, but to do them all we need indeed the research lab level 4. We need to produce the lab equipment level 4 and we need to upgrade our lab, but to build a research lab level 5 we actually need construction part level 4, lab equipment level 4, but we also need the gold maintenance level 2 and a new resource. This is the TeraFlops. This is with your servers. We need servers. So we're not quite ready for that, but I'm going to show you everything that we need to do to get ready for it. The first thing that I decided to do between the last episode is to actually create this new block over here, which is an almost self-sustaining module for all of their maintenance. I wanted to make sure that their maintenance was always good, the maintenance level 1, but also the maintenance level 2 and level 3. And as you can see, the level 2 requires electronics level 2, the level 3 requires electronics level 3, so that's even harder. Now that we've increased our copper production, right, we're producing a lot more copper now, I'm making sure that the copper with this balancer is first sent over here. So this is my maintenance level 1, right? We have the copper and the rubber to create some electronics, and we have the iron to create a lot of mechanical parts. All of this is what's needed to feed 4 of these. And then I created also this new block over here, which will be for maintenance 2 and 3. So mechanical parts and electronics, we have the mechanical parts over here. This is all of the mechanical parts that's needed both for these ones and that one. Then over here we have some electronics level 1, because we need electronics level 1 to create actually electronics level 2, right? On top of that, we also need PCB and silicon. And then those electronics level 2, as I said, will be used over here into the maintenance depot level 2, and will also be used into these over here to make electronics level 3. To do that, we also need microchips. The microchips will come over here. Well, indeed, I'm not producing microchips yet, but you can actually buy some on the map. If you see here, you can sell gold against microchips. The only thing you do need is a reputation level 2. To increase your reputation, if you haven't done so before, you just need to donate parts. So with that, I can buy regularly some microchips against gold and make sure that this is all working. It does require PCB also and silicon, but we were already making that before. Don't hesitate to check the last episode if you missed that. What we weren't making in the last episode is what's just next door. It's the gold. If we want to be able to sell gold against microchip, we do need to produce that gold. So this is what we're making over here. This is actually the end. You can see over here the gold furnaces. They take either gold scrap or gold ore concentrate plus sand to make a bit of gold and some exhaust. So this is why here I have my gold scrap and my gold ore concentrate. Of course, we're focusing first on the scrap. It goes into this first line and second line at level 0. The sand comes at level 1. This is the same sand that was over here, right? It was already going there. Now I have a small branch coming over here. This is just 2 per, so it's really nothing. And then we need to make sure to take out the exhaust. This is what you can see over here. That exhaust pipe, it goes all the way over here, continues. And I've basically added a 5th exhaust scrubber over here because those 4 were already used by all of my blast furnaces. I've added 1 more over here. Let's do as always a right click to see how to make it. Well, there's actually only one usage of it. This is what we just saw, and only one way to make it. So you need to take gold or powder plus some acid to create the concentrate. And as you can see also this is half, right? 48 to 24, and also making some toxic slurry. We know how to make acid, but what about this gold or powder? Well, actually, once again, there's only one use, and one way to make it is you need to take gold ore crushed to make it. This is 48 to 48, so that's easy. You just need a crusher. And how do you make this one? Well, another crusher that takes 24 this time, so it's not the same ratio, right? We're gonna need 2 of these for 1 of these, 24 to 24. So a couple of crushers needed, and of course we need to get our gold ore. In this map, the goal is over here. That's what I've started. As you can see, it is above the plateau, but also underground. It goes into this one on that belt, and it's gonna go into those crushers. First, we have crushers, as we said, to go from gold ore to gold ore crushed. And then we're gonna have another one for gold ore crushed to gold ore powder. And as we said, it's a ratio of 2. So you have 3 of these and 6 of these over here. Then it goes into the settling tank where we're adding acid. As always, this is the same acid we used to make over here. And with this acid, we're able to create the concentrate and some slurry. So this is how we're making gold. Don't hesitate to put in the comments below if you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions to even make it better. Now, as I said in the last episode, the other thing I really wanted to do was to upgrade my crude to diesel production. I wanted to have a bigger one because sometimes this wasn't enough, and at the same time also use better byproduct mechanism. Now this time I decided to do it a bit different. It's less compact, obviously it's a lot bigger. This can take care of double the amount of crude oil. If you can see here, we had 4 of these couples of stage 1, 2, and 3. Now I have 8 of these, right? So it's taking care of double the amount of crude oil. And you can also see that I've put a number of those intermediary storages. These storages are for 2 reasons. The first one is to help create buffers so that it works a bit more smoothly, because the buffer is not only the pipe, but there's also 360 of buffer. This way it works a lot smoothly. And secondly, even more importantly, it enables me to create a lot of alerts. Alerts when things are full, alerts when things that should be full are empty, those type of things. So with all of those small storages, this of course takes also some space. So at high level, what is happening? Well, we have the crude that's coming from here, then it goes all the way over here at level 0 and goes into those normal, stage 1 takes the crude and some steam, create the medium, then you take the medium, you create the diesel and the light, and then you take the light to create naphtha and fuel. Right? So that's the normal one, stage 1, 2, 3. One of the key byproducts is the sour water, right? It goes into those sour water strippers over here. I have 6 of these, and all of these is also at perfect ratios. It's perfect ratios to make sure that it can handle the 8 of these ones, but also if all 8 are not working, this will still work perfectly. So anyway, we have those sour water here to create sulfur, ammonia, and water. The sulfur will just come out, will be used in many different things. Then the water will go back into the system, and lastly the ammonia is going over here to be electrolyzed to make some hydrogen. Then here we have some cracking unit to take care of all of the heavy oil. We have actually 4 of these. This is what's needed for 8 of these. 4 of these which are taking some of the hydrogen we are making over here to create even more naphtha and fuel gas. So on top of the naphtha and fuel gas we're creating here, we're creating even more over there. And this is why here you can see this is my fluid storage, my input for the naphtha, because all of the naphtha created here plus all of the naphtha created there is going all the way over here. And there I'm going to crack it again with some steam to make some fuel gas and some sour water. So even more sour water to go back over here and create again even more sulfur, ammonia, and water. And lastly, a lot more fuel gas. So this way, basically all of this is creating tons of fuel gas. Why fuel gas? Well, because fuel gas is a great, very efficient way to create steam, but also a couple of other things. Another reason why I really like to use fuel for these boilers is because it creates CO2 instead of exhaust. And CO2 is really great because soon I'm going to unlock this one where I can just take this CO2 to create graphite. So it's graphite basically out of nowhere, right? Before we had to use coal and chlorine, now we're just going to take this CO2 and create graphite, and there's no pollution at all. This is why we're creating tons of fuel gas. So there's fuel gas coming from here, fuel gas coming from there, fuel gas coming from here. There's fuel gas coming from a bunch of places. They all go into those balancers there. The first output priority is actually over here. This is gonna be my new statue of maintenance. Remember, for now my statue of maintenance was here, taking also the output of my old production over here. So now this will be here. And I'm putting the storage over here to make sure that this is never empty, or at least I have time. I'll see an alert to tell me this is going down, and therefore I can do something and before my statue gets off. But this is only 2 per minute, so I'll have a lot more gas. And then the second output is over here. It goes into this one, and this is what will be used for all of my steam. As I have 6 of these to create all of the steam needed. And this is not all, we still have some fuel gas actually. So whatever is left, then we'll go into this one over here. And from this one, we'll go into those hydrogen reformer. When this is working sort of, normally at full, I should only need 3 of these. I've put a 4th one to make sure that basically we never waste. And with this, we're creating even more hydrogen, even more carbon dioxide. So the hydrogen is linked to that hydrogen over here. As we said before, first it is used over here, but we're actually producing a lot more than 100 surplus. So this will then go into this storage over here to be used on many other things. I have put though here 2 flares just to make sure that if this is completely full, this doesn't back up. We're just going to flare this hydrogen, and the key reason I'm doing that is because it doesn't pollute. So yes, this is a sort of waste of resources at some point, right? I would waste hydrogen, which I could use in many things, and we're gonna try to use it in many things. But in case, there's a blockage, at least it's just sent into the atmosphere without any pollution. So I'm really trying to also decrease my pollution over here. Then as we said, we're creating a lot of CO2. CO2 is coming from here and also from those boilers. It all goes in the north over here. You can see this storage, and for now I am sending it to the atmosphere, so it is creating pollution, but it's just because I haven't unlocked this. This is the next research. As you can see, this is the research number 1, the next one we're gonna do. So as soon as this is done, then it will go into chemical plants level 2, and this is why I've already put the chemical plants level 2. They are here, they're waiting for it. So as soon as we have it, basically instead of using this smokestack here, we'll keep it of course, just in case this is full, but the priority will be going this way. Then this will be my reserve of diesel. So the diesel goes all the way over here. It actually comes back over here with this pipe balancer, priority going back to the ship. Remember, we want the ship to be full all the time, and then if not, you go into the storage. And then we'll probably also put over here a fuel station, by the way. The only thing we didn't talk about is water. As I said, we are creating some water over here, but this is not enough. We actually do need a bit more, right? Because this is only 24, this is 48, and this water will be created over here with those thermal desalinators. This is basically 12 per, and we have 4 of these, so that's 48. So it's just one of these boiler is dedicated to this, and then the water is sent to the system. This is actually water positive. We're creating just a bit more water than what we need, which is why I have this balancer over here, making sure a couple of things. First is that we're using the water from inside the system. We want to make sure that we're using all of this water so these are not blocked. Second, we want to make sure that the priority output is those boilers, and then whatever is left can be dumped into the ocean. So here is my new gigantic build for the oil. As we said, this is 8 of these, right? So this is more than 400 crude oil per minute, so really should be fine for quite a while with that. Now let's use C to see how much that's gonna cost us. 3,000 red parts, 2,500 gold parts. This is a lot, but again, this is really going to last us for a long time. Look at this, all these white fumes. Love it. This is working perfectly. Of course, as always with those type of layouts, you do need something to kickstart it, because all of this needs water, and to make water you need to make steam, but to make steam you need water, so you're a bit in a loop, and that's why you need to kickstart this whole system by sending a bit of steam into the system. That's why you see here my boiler call, right? This is now paused, I don't need it anymore, but at the start I just put a very simple boiler call. As I said, now this is paused, but we can also delete it. So the only thing missing is as soon as we unlocked the new recipe to transform CO2 into graphite, this is what we'll be doing here. And then at that point, I'll probably also move my arc furnaces. Instead of being over there and only having 2, I can have a lot more. So using my graphite and my hydrogen to make a lot more silicon on site. We've also started this whole process over here, as you can see, and even unpaused a maintenance depot level 3, because we're starting to use it. I've increased my reputation over here so we can trade. I do suggest that you trade twice before the price increases, then you stop, you wait for it to decrease again, and then you do it again. So with that, we have a good stock of microchips that is over here to make this function. And the reason we need this maintenance level 3 is because I have started my server, my data center. This is where you get those teraflops, you need two things. You need servers. This is what you can see over here, where basically one rack of server, right now I have 12. Each of them costs you 20 of these server resources, will give you 1 teraflops. Also, it costs a bit of electricity, and as you can see, this maintenance level 3. It also requires chill water. It's a new resource, but not a hard one. You have this water chiller over here. Takes 30 water, outputs 24 chilled water. I need 5 or 6 over here, so that's totally fine. And then it outputs water. I've linked all of these to my nuclear reactor because remember my nuclear water was water positive, so that was a good use of a bit of water over here. And you may see that I've also started the second part of this nuclear plant because I was often getting above the 18, so that's why now I've moved, but I'm actually only using 1/3. So where are we using those teraflops? Well, basically there are 3 buildings that will require teraflops right away. The first one is the assembly robotic. As you can see, 4 teraflops per assembly. The second is the microchip machine, similarly 4 per each. And the last one is the silicon crystaller here. You can see a robotic assembly over here. You may be wondering why I am using it, why do I have to use it? Well, the reason is because we can only make construction part level 4 into an assembly robotic. If you look at your old assembly electric level 2, you can look at all of the recipes. You have the lab equipment level 4, but you don't have the construction part level 4. So we definitely had to just build. I've actually built 2. You could do just 1, but with 2, I was able to really quickly get to a high number of parts. And then the second is this one over here, the silicon crystaller. We're taking some of the silicon, a bit of water to start creating silicon wafer. The silicon wafer are the base of your microchip. And indeed, then the next step in our development will be to start the microchip machines, microchip production. But for that, again, we're gonna need even more teraflops. So for that, I'm gonna need more servers. The good thing with servers is you can actually make them in assembly electric level 2. You don't need a robotic assembly, but it does take steel and electronics level 3. And electronics level 3 requires some microchips. So this is once again why you definitely need to buy a bit of microchips on the map. At least that's my understanding. I don't see how else you could do it to really launch all of this. So here it is, ladies and gents, we have started to make construction part level 4. We started to make silicon wafers, and therefore in the next episode we can start making microchips and lab equipment level 4 to try to finish the tech tree and of course get to our rocket assembly. We're not there yet, but we're definitely close to it. As always, don't hesitate if you have any questions, any thoughts, comments in the comments below, or also to join the Discord community, in particular if you want to discuss layouts, see some of my layouts, I post them often there in advance. If you like this video, don't hesitate to press the like button, and I hope to see you next time.